Hello, I'm Dale Black. This is a video that I'm making from me to you, and it's about the most important things that I believe a Christian should operate with in their lives, and that is the word of faith, learning how to use faith, what it is in the first place, how it works, and how by the understanding of these things, faith can absolutely turn your life upside down for the better. Now, there's a great deal of difference between three words. All three are in the Bible, and that is the word hope, the word belief, and the word faith. All three are different. They're all in the Bible, and all three of them play an important part in getting answers to your prayers. But all three have a distinct difference in your life, and they apply very much different in heaven as the same as on earth. In other words, all three have different meanings in heaven and on earth both. So this is important. The problem is, if you don't understand the differences between these three words, I have found that your prayers will be hindered. They'll be delayed, and oftentimes they just won't come at all. Has that been the case with you? Your answers to prayer are so slow that you're almost about to give up. Some of you have already given up. Well, trust me, it's not God's fault when the answers don't come. It's yours and my fault. There's a lot that we do not understand. There's reasons for this. The enemy is very crafty in trying to take the most important truths and uh, make them not available to learn. The fact of the matter is that your life will barely get off the ground, spiritually speaking, without the knowledge that I'm talking about right now, without understanding faith, hope, and belief in these three words. Without understanding them, in spiritual terms, your life is going to stall, and you will not fly above the clouds with peace and with purpose and with answers to prayer quickly and powerfully the way God designed it for you to work. Keep in mind that hope is not faith, and belief and believing is not faith either. Let's unravel this incredibly important aspect of the Christian life. You can do it, and here we go. The three words that I'm talking about are hope, belief, and faith. All three of these words are in the Bible. They're in the Bible often, in fact, and all three play an important part in getting the answers to your prayers. They all have different meanings. In fact, we're going to learn what they are because it's the same in heaven as on earth. Now, not understanding the differences between these three words, what's going to happen is you'll find that your prayers will be hindered. Your prayers will be delayed. And oftentimes the answers to your prayers won't come at all. It won't be God's fault when the answers don't come. It will be my fault, your fault, if we're not applying diligently what God has taught us in His Word. He's said in His Word, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. That's just one place. But we need to understand these things. Stay tuned to the very end of this video because there is nothing motivating me more to make this video than just to help you personally in your life for Jesus Christ. You should know this, that hope is not faith, and belief is not faith either. I've talked to a lot of people throughout the years, and hope is the easiest word for most people, it seems, for them to understand. Let's talk about the definition for hope for a moment. It means expect with confidence and to cherish a desire with anticipation. Hope is a key ingredient to having the kind of faith that Jesus wanted for us to have, and to have the kind of faith that will change your life. It'll turn your life inside out for the better. The Bible says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11, verse 1. Hope is a substance, the evidence of things not seen. Hope is important. Hope is good. In fact, hope is essential in your daily life. Daily living without hope is miserable. Wouldn't you agree? But know this about hope. Hope is not faith, not even close. What you need to turn your life upside down is faith. Hope is the confident expectation of a desired thing. It's listed in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and here's the verse. And now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. Try not to misunderstand what like a lot of people do. The greatest of these three things is love. That's not saying the greatest of all things is love, but oh my gosh, is it important? Just know there's a difference there. Hope is like the blueprint of a building, but hope is not the building. Try making a building without a blueprint. Building without a blueprint is likely going to cause the structure to end up sloppy, ugly, and ineffective in every way. Hope is the blueprint of faith. Yes, it's the blueprint of faith, but it's not faith. Hope is a requirement for answers to prayer. Hope is required for healing, for deliverance, for peace, for security, for understanding how to be guided by God. But hope is not belief, and hope is not faith. So let's discuss this in a little more detail. I promise by the end of this video, I think you're going to have the tools to be able to apply an immediate, quick change for the better for you, your family, and for your career, and for everything about your life, spiritually speaking. Okay, I am a pilot, as you know that. Hope is like a pre-flight. Using aviation as an example, hope is the pre-flight, but not the flight itself. Hope includes the loading of passengers and cargo. Hope is checking the weather, confirming the fuel on board, reviewing the maintenance squawk sheets and the sign-offs. All of this is done for a flight that you hope to take. But the pre-flight is not the flight. Faith is what changes your life. Faith is the flight. Faith is when you are in the air, you go airborne and you take off and you fly above the clouds. Faith is what moves the obstacles that are in your path. Yes, hope is essential, but hope is not faith. Let's talk about belief and as it relates to the word faith. Have you ever heard of the word belief? What about believe or believer or believing? Well, let me ask you another question. Have you perhaps taken for granted that these words are very similar and even possibly the same? In other words, belief and faith are basically just different words of saying the same thing. Like most people, you've likely not considered the distinct differences between the two words and have assumed that they're basically saying the same thing. Let me give you an example. If you were to say that my wife is a woman, a female, and a mother, you'd be right. But there are different designations, and of course there are some differences, but you'd still be right. But if I were to say woman, female, or mother, you wouldn't think of a male horse, would you? You would think of the wonderful helpmate that God created in his own image. And in this case, you could use those words somewhat interchangeably. Well, have you thought possibly that hope, faith, and belief were just another way of saying, for example, female, woman, and mother? in the tense that they're all basically the same. In other words, you thought that they were basically saying the same thing when in fact they were not. Many people think that if you're talking about faith, you're also talking about belief. And if you're talking about belief, you're also talking about faith. From heaven's viewpoint, faith is different than belief, and the power of faith will not be unleashed if you use just belief. You must use them both. Now, once you unlock the door to understanding what faith really is, I'm telling you, fasten your seatbelts. Your life is going to take off like it's going supersonic. I just saw on a documentary that they made a nuclear powered airplane. I actually been in aviation all my life. I didn't even know that, but I'm learning about it. A nuclear powered aircraft. Your life will be, it'll go from conventional weaponry to nuclear power if you learn the differences between belief, hope, and faith, and then you apply these to your life.